action figure fans, it's the one and only optibotimus coming with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to the support of Big Bad Toy Store, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Masterpiece movie series, MPM-09 Jazz. Really cool Autobot that met his end, in my opinion, way too early. For the package, you got that really gorgeous Masterpiece movie series style with what you basically have inside the package. You got that nice Transformers text down there. See the Transformers logo down here. Of course, this is a Pontiac Solstice, which, if I'm not mistaken, Pontiac doesn't really exist anymore. So that's kind of fun. The bottom just has weird things. This side here has a side image of him in vehicle mode. You got a more up-close image of him in his robot form, as well as an up-close image of his car. Come around to the back. You can see him in some fancy kind of poses that may require additional support. But you know, that's that's fun. Also shows off his accessories such as a sliding visor, a little, I don't even want to say a figure, but it's like a little statue of Sam Witwicky and the Allspark. Features articulated hands and, of course, yes indeed, the spinal cord attachment. Because let's relive that gruesome moment where Megatron ripped him into two pieces. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have him opened up out of his packaging and obviously in his vehicle form. Now it is worth noting when you open that package, this is the form that he is already in. Therefore, when you take a look at the instructions, that is the first step of the instruction. You can see that here he is in his car mode, and then you go through and you transform him and all that kind of stuff. A lot of different steps. Obviously, this is a masterpiece style rendition of Jazz, so there are going to be a lot of steps. According to this, there's 48. You can see you can add his visor, you can attach his weapon to his hand, and of course, the damaged mode. It's the damage mode for him, but there's that. Now starting off first with Sam Witwicky, you can see pretty decent size figure, I guess, just because I had it in here in my most recent video. Here is that little Spike figure that came with the new MP-45 Bumblebee. Fairly small by comparison to Sam Witwicky here. And I'll be honest, I don't know, maybe about the right size for the Pontiac Solstice. I mean, the Pontiac Solstice is a pretty small car. But for another comparison, here he is with a Target Master thing. I forgot what those are called. Battle Masters. So yeah, you can see that he's a good size figure, but again, I shouldn't really call him a figure. He is just a static piece. Does have some paint on there. Mostly it looks like it's done up in a black plastic. You got a little bit of a flesh color for the hands, the face. No real detail put into his face. You can see that it is sculpted, but there really isn't much that you can say in terms of detail. You can see where some paint could go, but there really isn't anything. And then the Allspark actually has some nice sculpted in detail. You can see that it is molded very similar to how the Allspark was, with the weird kind of markings on there, and then you can see it is a nice silver plastic. I actually do appreciate how they got this piece right here, where you can see the hand come over. So it's like they had to paint that silver there and then also have to paint the hands. So that's a nice little attention to detail that really does stand out nicely. Overall though, I mean, it is what it is. It's not overly spectacular. There's no articulation. You can, for whatever reason, remove his one foot from the base. I don't know why you would want to, but you can do it. And he's just running, you know, like, so there's that. Now you can attach his weapon in his vehicle mode. The one thing that I don't really like about this, I mean, obviously you have the dangling spine piece. That can be detached, so you don't have to have that on there. But taking a look at that, real good detail in there as well. You got the gold section, some nice silver bits added on there. A little bit of dark gray throughout, but I like the silver on the actual spine section itself. That looks really nice. A lot of the paint on here is really good. A very nice silver paint. This is where I was having an issue, because this attaches via this little kind of hook thing right here that you have to put on here and then slide back. And I feel that could scratch that over time. I don't know. I mean, I already kind of see some like scratching up here. I mean, that's not from this. That's just from the actual paint itself. So that does make me worried that this could get scratched up over time. But his gun here, you can fold this like that, like he had it in the film itself. Again, you can attach that on there. I'll show how to plug this in his actual robot mode, but you do have that. It is a weapon that he used, so I'm glad to see it carry over. Again, you got that nice silver paint. You got some gold picked out here with the little blaster sections. Come around to the opposite side, and you can see the actual handle area is done in a great black plastic, but you can see that the back side of the very nicely silver painted portion is just a gray. So you have that. Vehicle mode wise, this guy is gorgeous. The Pontiac Solstice is a really sporty, very small car. One thing that was also really unique about this was it had a hardtop, which most of them were convertibles, but I like seeing that with the hardtop itself. Overall though, really great detail. Again, these are the masterpiece figures that are going to have that extra level of detail, and I feel like they put it in here. The paint job is fantastic. It does have a very uniform, smooth look to it, which I do appreciate. There doesn't appear to be really any kind of variation in terms of the application of the silver paint. It looks really very stellar. You got some little bits here with some black sculpted in detail, such as the handle, the gas tank. You can even kind of see right down inside there where the windshield wipers are. That's a nice little added touch. You got the vents. Come around to the front, you have some nice clear bits here for the headlights as well as the fog lights. Got the Pontiac logo right there. Obviously, the grille has the black section. Tires have that nice silver going around the rim with mostly black tires, obviously. Then you come around to the back, and then you got the tail lights and reverse lights painted in here. I like how they actually used translucent plastic that's colored red for those lights. That's really nice. Like, you got the clear translucent bits up here, and then you got the red ones right there. That just gives a more vibrant kind of pop effect than just like red paint. But I do like that they painted those down here at the bottom. You have the little exhaust bits right here, which actually do have some paint on there. I mean, this is done in a gray plastic, and then you can kind of see some silver paint on the edges of those exhausts. So when you look at it from there, it's not all just one color. I do like how they add that kind of detail as well. Overall, very, very nice looking. One thing that I have out of my package is this has been bent. I'll probably have to heat that up to get that back in the correct position for where the side view mirrors are, but I don't know if that was just because when it's in the package, it's sitting like down like that. And this is the top part that you see, so I don't know if that just got pushed down and not put in the clamshell properly, but it is what it is. It does have some robot junk that you can see through the windows. Again, I really wish they would put some kind of tint in there. I do like the clear windows, but the tint would really hide a lot of that stuff and go along with that more robot in disguise thing, because otherwise that just looks like where's a person sitting in there. So vehicle mode wise, really nice. I like it. I think it does exactly what it needs to do in terms of recreating how the Pontiac Solstice looks, specifically Jazz's interpretation of it. And I just think it's a really cool look for a Transformer. Jazz should be hip, and this definitely screams that. And here we have him in robot mode. Now, first I do want to apologize for not going through the transformation sequence. This is going to be truly just a review of the figure with no instructions like that. Unfortunately, there has been some really unfortunate events in my personal life that I haven't been able to spend the time necessary to really learn how to transform this guy properly enough to give you guys clear instructions. I apologize for that. I'll give MGO316 a shout out. He has an individual transformation series that just goes through the transformation on his figures, and you can check out the transformation for this guy via that. But I want to thank you still for watching my review of this figure. As you can see, that box image where he was balancing himself is certainly possible. It requires some patience to do, but he's there. It is doable. His hand, the joints are actually tight enough, at least on mine, that it does do a pretty decent job of holding him there. And then if you get everything kind of positioned just right, the balance is there to pull this off. So that is pretty cool, if you ask me. The figure is actually really, really well done. I'm very impressed with it. It is a very sophisticated transformation with it. If you like, the old difficult transformation, this is definitely going to, I feel, scratch that itch. It results in an absolutely gorgeous transformer, but it does have some sophistication in that transformation. A lot of that kind of flipping around and engineering is a lot in these arms. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on here to form what honestly are fairly accurate looking arms. I mean, I love how they actually got the front headlights here, which again, this whole thing is meant to be very movie accurate, and this definitely is. Gorgeous paint carries through. You can see a lot of added detail throughout the entire thing, including a license plate right here, which apparently all the Autobots have their license plates in their lower torso crotchal area. The silver, I mean, I love the head sculpt. If I come in and take a closer look at that, let me zoom in on that little guy here. Zooming in. No, that's not his head. There we go. There's his head. That is a very Michael Bay looking face. It looks terrific. Now you can lift this section up here and flip this piece. Where's it at? It's somewhere in there. I have not spent as much time as I should with this, but you can take that and tuck that down and then bring that back down. So the visor is always out there. Now you have it without the visor, but obviously I think for Jazz, he looks a lot better with the visor. It's just not that easy to get out. Let me see here. Let me kind of wedge something in there. That's once that goes away, that's not easy to come back out. So I mean, it gets right up along the bottom section there. So all right, I guess we're just gonna leave it there. But still looks good. I do think he looks better with the visor though, obviously. But again, taking a look at the internal detail here, a lot of really great detail in the torso area. Great paint detail throughout it. Coming down to the legs, and you see a lot of real nice detail on there as well. And then you got some die-cast pieces right here in here. Now his legs do cause a little bit of some stability issues because as you can see, I mean, he kind of wants to fall back here a bit. Part of it is the way that his feet actually are designed. You do really have to kind of position them spread out a little bit and then manipulate some of these pieces around to really get a good balance with his legs. And you can see that part of it, like that, doesn't even touch the ground right there, but it's there. But I don't know how it's actually helping him stand. Honestly, see, I mean, that's just kind of there. It's strange, I guess. Maybe move it back a little bit. Either way, I mean, you can get him to stand, obviously, perfectly fine. It just, you need some extra kind of patience, again, with him. You come around to the back of the figure, and you can see that he actually cleans up pretty decently. He does have a bit of a backpack, but again, fairly accurate to the way that the movie looked. He did have a slight backpack. This isn't egregious by any stretch of the imagination, so I am happy with that. His accessories for his gun here, you take this guy, and you're going to fold this piece like that, and then literally you just take this and you slide it. You close his hand up, and then you're going to slide it inside there like that, although I probably put that the wrong way, so let's do it the right way. There's his gun that just sits there. I still think I had that the wrong way. It wasn't. Yeah, it was this way, but see, I detached some pieces here, and I'm now going to be disappointed in myself because I don't know if that. I'll just hold that down there. It goes like that. So you can have him with his weapon like that, which is cool. And yes, you can brutally rip this guy apart. Yeah, that should be clipping down into something. I don't remember where the clip point is. It's somewhere around. Wait, I want to say it's like this thing. Yeah, there we go. That clip's in there. I find it funny, though, that they do include this. They didn't include any other death things. Like, I would have loved it if they gave us a rusted head of Ironhide, but they didn't. But they do something like this, which... All right, let's do it. Now, I do not have any other movie masterpiece figures. Ultimately, I've decided that I'm going to go with the Studio Series just because while these are great in amazing detail, I just don't have a lot of space. So these take up more space. I mean, here's one masterpiece figure. Here's Bumblebee for comparison. So he's a little bit bigger than that. But so I can't show you Megatron ripping apart. But you have this little piece right here. This whole lower section just, well, it's a little bit easier. So you go like that, and this piece literally just kind of pulls away. Oh, push the button, I'm sorry. You have a little button right here in the back. Push that button, and it pulls that whole thing away. And you want a piece of me? You want a piece? No, I want two. Aw, jazz. So you can do that, and then you can take this, and look! He's got innards. What a great thumbnail. I'm going to use this as the thumbnail for my video. So there's his buddy. There's poor Jazz. Yeah. It is without a doubt a weird thing to do. I don't know. I'm sure people are thrilled that they're going to be able to recreate this. I don't understand it. Honestly, are you guys that morbid that you want to do this? Are you going to display him like that? I don't know. And then you just put that back in there, kind of push that button on the back again, locks that back into place. I did end up moving his legs, shifting them down, so let's shift them back up to where that needs to be. And then this detached, so just lock that back into place. Overall, though, it's a fun thing to have. Albeit extremely morbid to do. First, articulation. The head is on a ball joint. This one is a little bit looser than I would like, but it still holds a pose when you have it up like that. I mean, it's not dropping down, but it does feel a little bit looser. I don't want to say it's a ball joint. I feel like that is just a hinge, and then it does swivel around. The shoulders here have a lot of movement in them. You got a little butterfly joint right there. You have a movement hinge going up there. You have a rotation right there, so you can move all this stuff around. There is a little bit of kibbliness into his arms. You do have a rotation here, and then the elbow is on a double joint. Again, there's a lot of flipping and a lot of panels coming together to actually make this. So it's not bad. You get a full range of motion for the most part, about a little bit more than a 90-degree bend for the actual elbow, but when you move it, like I said, you got to shift everything down to get it looking proper. The wrists and the hands here, you do have a little bit of a hinge going one way and then another one going the other way, so you kind of get like this going around. The fingers have a joint right there and then a middle joint. Again, these are fairly tight, so you can really pull off those poses, which is definitely nice. The way that everything is done in terms of the transformation, I feel like I'm not getting that tab down all the way. There we go. When that goes all the way down, it doesn't really give you articulation. You can lift it up, and then you can get a little bit of a swagger with his upper body, but it's meant to stay all the way down. He does have a waist rotation. It is a bit of a ratchet joint when you're doing it, just because that's where that whole release point is, right there in that little button. So there is a kind of ratcheting system inside there. These little pieces can move up so that you do get the swivel forward and back, the hinge going in and out. He does rotate at the upper part of the thigh. He's got 2 bends at the knee that when you do bend it, you do get some more extra nice gold detail in there, which is really very cool. Just kind of play with that and get that back to where it needs to be. The ankles here don't really move forward and back. I mean, they kind of do, but again, there is some balancing that you need to do for the feet to keep everything lined up properly. So you do get a little bit of forward and back, mostly here with this front die-cast toe piece, so you can pivot that around a little bit, and you can also move it inward a little, so something like that. So a little bit wider of a pose for him. You know, again, it is all a matter of personal preference, really, if you like a lot of articulation or not. I feel like that there's a good balance of pieces in here that really do kind of work with what we have. And like I said, there's a lot of kibble that kind of folds up and fills into places, like with the arms and the legs. And I don't feel like the articulation really limits too much of it. So I'm quite happy with the engineering on this guy. Like I said, the transformation is difficult. There's no question about that. It's again, I do have to apologize for not being able to show it to you. MGO did do a really good job in his transformation video. So again, I do recommend checking that out if you do need any help whatsoever with that transformation. Overall, I'm very happy with the figure. If you have the space, I absolutely recommend them. All of these movie masterpiece series have been doing a terrific job of recreating these characters. Obviously, when you're taking a CGI model where thousands and thousands of parts move around and shift and everything, there's going to be some disconnect between a real life figure like this and what you see on screen. This is a pretty damn good representation of what we got in the movie, and without a doubt is the best representation of him. I'm sorry, like I said, I don't have any other figures really to compare him to in the movie masterpiece line. You know the Studio Series figures are going to be about the same size as this, but here's Bumblebee. So this really does hit all the elements. The robot mode is fantastic looking. Vehicle mode looks fantastic. Transformation is a little bit tricky, not impossible, but does take some time getting used to it, especially since we're kind of used to easier transformations now. And I don't know, I feel like some of those new figures have kind of dumbed us down to a degree. We were used to really difficult Transformers with like Revenge of the Fallen and stuff, and then things started getting easier, and then we complained because things were simple, and then we're getting them difficult again, and now we're really complaining again. I don't know. There's no making me happy. Whatever. But again, I do want to thank all of you guys for all of your support. As I said, I do also want to apologize for not going through the transformation. I know a lot of you guys really watch my videos to be able to see transformations forward and back, and there is a big part of me that feels that I have let you down. I haven't had the time in the past 2 days really to focus on getting this transformation perfectly to show it to you guys, and I didn't want to do a bad job of that. So if you still watch this video, I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. We are now in a time where a lot of us YouTubers are trying to figure out where things are going to go with YouTube and COPPA and all that stupid BS. We're in the new year, and we are still waiting to see how that is going to fully affect us. So whatever support that you guys can do, be it just watching these videos, signing up to become a patron, anything of that nature really does help, and I really do appreciate it. So all that being said, if the movie masterpiece version of Jazz is a figure that you'd like to add to your collection, he is available right now at places online such as Big Bad Toy Store. For that, I'll put a link down in the video description where you can go to BBTS and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate if you would do one very small thing for me. If you can't be a patron, simply just hit that thumbs up button. That one small gesture really does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Another thing you can do is leave a comment in the comment section. That's one thing that theoretically was going to go away, so use it while you can. It also does really go a long way towards helping me out, as it shows audience engagement. As I said, I want to send a huge shout out to the folks over at Big Bad Toy Store, who through their sponsorship of my channel help to make reviews like this possible. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a collector.